The director of the Black Panther movie was detained for being mistaken as a bank robber. So now, Complex reported that director Ryan Coogler was detained by police and placed in handcuffs after the staff of a Bank of America in Atlanta thought that he was trying to rob them. So now this incident apparently happened back in January when Coogler attempted to make a withdrawal from his own account while wearing a mask and sunglasses. Well, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. So yes, the mask makes sense. And so now when he went there, he passed the teller a note saying that I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my own checking account, and then asked the teller to do the money count somewhere else for discretion. Now, look, the teller apparently misinterpreted the note as a robbery and called the police. So now, here's the thing. That's a lot of money from his own account. It's very important to note that it's from his own account. So I don't understand if she thought that she was robbing, or he was robbing himself. I mean, I don't know. So look, here's the thing. When you're asking for that much money, do you really want the teller to count that out in front of everybody? That's 12 grand. No, you don't want to announce to everybody, hey, by the way, I'm going to be carrying around $12,000 worth of cash in my pocket. No, that's an invitation for you to get robbed. No. So look, yes, putting that note was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And understandable. To have her count that money out of view, away from everyone else, away from prying eyes, that makes sense. Again, you don't want to advertise that you have that much money on you. I mean, again, that's ridiculous. But here's the thing, right? Also, I understand that it's not like the average thing that a teller will experience as well. But you could have handled it a lot better. I could have handled a lot better. Now, that said, look at the assumptions here. You got a black guy in a mask and sunglasses handing over a note. Well, at that point, they're essentially trained, oh, that person might be a bank robber. I need to call the police right now. Now, of course, it turned out to not be the case. Now, when the police arrived, they also detained two people that were waiting for Coogler in an SUV outside the bank after putting him in handcuffs. TMZ reports that police had quickly realized that they had made a mistake. Quote, this is a police report, according to the Hollywood Reporter. It was determined later by Sergeant Fernandez that the incident is a mistake by Bank of America, and that Mr. Coogler was never in the wrong, and was immediately taken out of handcuffs, and that suspects number 1 and number 2 was taken out of from the rear of the patrol vehicle. Mr. Coogler, as well as suspect number 1 and 2, was given an explanation of the incident, as well as an apology for the mistake by the Bank of America. Mr. Coogler requested the name as well as the badge number for all the officers on the scene, and I think that's fair. Coogler said in a statement to Variety later on, quote, this situation should have never happened. Yeah. Again, look at the assumptions here. Black guy must be a robber. Now, for maybe a wealthy white person, say if you were in a suit and you were white, but you had a mask and sunglasses on, and you went to the bank and you did the same thing, I very much doubt police would have been called. I'm just saying. And by the way, apparently the report was that I'm reading was a little bit wrong. Apparently he was taken out of handcuffs a few hours lately, which again makes this even worse. So now, Coogler added that Bank of America did work with me later and addressed it to my satisfaction, and we have moved on. But there are no additional details into that. In a comment to the Hollywood Reporter, Bank of America spokesperson stated, quote, we deeply regret that this incident occurred. It should have never have happened, and we have apologized to Mr. Coogler. So, look, this is a pretty terrible situation. Apparently, you can't be wealthy and black because even that is questionable to people. So understand that it's not just about class, right? If you're class reductionist and you think, oh no, you can be wealthy and a black person and nothing will ever happen to you because you're wealthy, well, that's flawed. That doesn't exactly work in this country because there still is the assumptions about race. You can be a wealthy black person and still be arrested for things that you didn't do, things that aren't even crimes, or crimes you didn't even commit. And so, unfortunately, that's what happens in this country. That's why it's important to teach, the history of structural racism. And so, that said, the report did note that the teller who called the cops was apparently black. I'm not sure if that's the details. I don't really think that it matters too much, because I think when you look at the training of people who are tellers, well, again, there's an institutional bias that is baked in, that is baked in, which again warns you that if you see a black person acting suspicious at all, well, then they must be there to rob you. They must be there up to no good. So there's that situation. Thankfully, of course, this has been rectified apparently to Coogler's satisfaction, but nonetheless, it is something that is institutional and cultural as well, where these assumptions are made towards a black person or a person of color.